Okay, so on this one, they're giving us 5/12 to the 1/3 power. What I want you to know when they give us a power that's a fraction is the top is the actual power. You can't read that, but the bottom is the root. So what this really means is the cubed root of 512 to the first power. So we're doing the cubed root of 512. So I can type that into my calculator either using the fraction 1/3, or I can type that in my calculator using the cubed root of 512. Just keep that in mind. So the top is the power and the bottom is the root. So this one is 8. So here we have 400 to the 1/2. So that's the square root of 400, because whenever it's 2, it's just the square root. We don't have to put a 2 there. And the square root of 400 is 20. On this one, since I don't have parentheses around it, it's not all to the 1/5, it's just that m to the 1/5. So we still have 8 like normal, and then our root is 5, our power is 1. And there's a button on your My Math Lab for that. So negative 216 to the 1/3, this is the power, this is the root, so we'd have the cubed root of negative 216. Cubed root of negative 216. It's negative 6. Negative 16 to the 1/2. So that means they have the square root of negative 16. It's a square root with a negative in there. The square root of 16 is 4. We can't take the square root of negative 16 because any negative that is squared would be positive. So remember that. Okay, now we have a 2 on the top, so that's our power. And this is our root. So I have the cubed root of 8 squared, because the top is the power and the bottom is the root. So I have the cubed root of 64. And the cubed root of 64 is 4. Use your calculator if you need to. And you can type this into your calculator right there too, though. So this one we have the 4th root, because power's on top, root's on bottom. The 4th root of negative 81 cubed. A negative times a negative times a negative is still a negative. I can't take the 4th root of a negative, so no real answer. This is in parentheses here, so our power and our root. So that means we're going to have the 5th root of 3x cubed. Type an exact answer using radicals as needed. I wonder how far they want y'all to go on this one. So we'd have the 5th root of 3 cubed is 27x cubed. I do not believe that simplifies, so that should be your answer on that one, if you'll have the exact same numbers. Sorry. Okay, so here it's going to be the same. So the square root of 16 cubed over 81 cubed, because root power. This one I'm going to type into my calculator, and I'm going to type it in exactly how I see it. In parentheses there, so 16 over 81 raised, yep, 3 halves, 64 over 729. This one I'd type into my calculator as well. Raised to the 4/3. Do they want us? So this would be 0.123. Yeah. This one should not be a real answer, but we'll type it in. Yep. So, since that's a negative exponent, it ended up being m4 to the 7th, because negative exponents, remember, we switch where they're at. And then this is our power, this is our root, so we'd have the 7th root of m to the 4th power. On this one, remember that it's only what's raised to the power and that 3 is not, so we'd have 4x to the 1/5 over 3. And then when we write this not using the fraction, we'd have 4 the 5th root of x over 3. Here we're doing the product rule, so we're going to add these exponents, so I'd have -2 plus 5 all over 3, which would be 3 over 3, which is 1, so our exponent is 1, so it's just x. Here we have 3/4 and 1/10, so we're going to find the common denominator, so I'd have 6 over 10 plus 1/10. Because I changed this one to tenths and just brought that one over, so you type exponential notation with rational exponent. I think it should take that. Here we have use the properties of exponents to simplify the expression with positive. Assume that all variables represent positive real exponents. So we have 4 to the 3 halves, and then u, this would be 2 times 3, 6 over 2, so u to the 3rd. I should have wrote that out. So what I did with this part right here was 2 times 3 halves, which is 6 halves, which is 3. Then here we have 4 cubed is 64, so and so then we're going to take these two and have 8u cubed.